Hello everyone, it's Old Guardian here. In this how to play video I'm going to take a look at Apxvoid's Giants Tempo Mage. A really interesting and really fun deck. And Mage as a whole is the most popular class in Hearthstone right now. There are so many mages, there are Gunther Mages, there are Freeze Mages, there are Secret Mages. This Giants Tempo Mage, this is somewhat reminiscent of Tempo Mage of old, if you remember the one with Flame Wakers and stuff, but Flame Waker is out in the wild now, so you cannot do exactly that kind of Tempo Mage anymore. The most aggressive mage build right now is the Secret Mage. But there's something of between the old Tempo Mage and the Gunther Mage, a little bit of a hybrid between those. It's a little faster than Gunther Mage, and it doesn't have those Gunther Mage staples like Medivh and Apxvoid, so it doesn't go for that long game plan. Okay, I'm going to play Medivh, I'm going to get a ton of value from Artiesh, or I'm going to Apxvoid and then start burning. A little bit more straightforward of a deck. So all the basic mage cards are there, stuff like Primordial Glyphs and Frostbolts and Fireballs, your usual mage stuff. Where the differences really start to show is first as the secret package. This one is running 2 counter spells and an ice block. So only one ice block also already demonstrates that this can go a little bit of a distance because it has an ice block, but does not rely on ice blocks to survive, there's only one. And 2 counter spells are actually a lot of fun in many cases. The opponents generally, when they see that you're not a secret mage, they assume that you're going to have 1 counter spell. So when you have 2 instead, that can really catch people off guard. The deck does make some concessions to the fact that it is not the fastest deck out there, so you have double Volcanic Potion. Even though you're trying to get tempo, you're trying to get minions on the board, getting that chip damage, getting that burn damage. But still double Volcanic Potion to also be able to defend yourself in those matchups where you are the defender and the opponent is the beatdown. This deck, like the old Tempo Mage, has a lot of trust in random effects, so you have 2 Babbling Books, you have your Primordial Glyphs, but how random is Primordial Glyph anyway? It's so reliable that every mage deck is running that. But the Babbling Books, a Kabbalist Tome, that's also a refill that gives you more power to mash through the game. And finally there's Yogg-Saron. And Yogg-Saron becomes fairly reliable in a spell heavy deck like this. Once you have cast around a dozen spells, Yogg-Saron is actually pretty good at doing good things. And finally, the deck has the big minions. Its name comes from the 2 Arcane Giants. These are also getting quite rapidly discounted, so you're able to play them out earlier than what you would do with Medivh or Apxvoid maybe, and really get the tempo aspect of the deck going. So how do you mulligan when you're playing this deck? You really want to apply minion pressure first. So the ideal things that you could find would be Mana Worm and Arcanologist. These cards are just so good. And if you think that you're going to have to defend yourself, then Frostbolt and Volcanic Potion are the cards that you want to look for. These can help you clear some boards. Frostbolt can also help you protect your minions, so if you have Mana Worm and Frostbolt, that's also a really good combination. Starting from there, how do you win games with this deck? There are 2 main ways to win games with this deck. Against slower decks, you are the aggressor. So if you can hit that Mana Worm, Arcanologist, Sorcerer's Apprentice, bunch of spells, face, you can be really aggressive and win the game by pure aggression. But then when you're facing something like Aggro Druids or Murloc Paladins, these kinds of aggressive decks, then you are actually the defender. Then you need the Volcanic Potion, you use Medivh's Valet to clear stuff, you need to use your minions to trade, spells to protect the minions to enable more trades. And then in the mid game, you have stuff like Violence Portal, then you have stuff like the discounted Arcane Giants, and then you will use those and get the swing turn and win the game from there. So 2 different strategies depending on the opponent. Kind of the definition of a mid-range deck. Depending on the matchup, you are either the aggressor or the defender. Finally, this deck does have a 3rd win condition, although that's not one that you're aiming to use, and that win condition is Yogg-Saron. Yogg-Saron can simply win games on its own, especially in a spell heavy deck like this. Yogg-Saron really needs those spells, like a dozen spells or more, then it will cast enough spells to get some fairly reliable results in. And Yogg-Saron, you can use Yogg-Saron as a last resort, so when all other hope is gone, you can slam down Yogg. But you can also be a bit more proactive with Yogg. So say you're noticing that, okay, the tide is turning a little bit against me, or I'm all out of juice. I don't have more resources to keep up the tempo, and there's a risk that the opponent may start to stabilize. So those are also positions where you can just slam down the Yogg. Then Yogg doesn't need to perform a full miracle. It might just give you a couple of cards and a couple of secrets, and that might be enough from Yogg. And then you can carry on from there. Let's take a look at some gameplay with this deck. And remember, if you enjoy this content, then like this video and subscribe to my channel. Now let's take a look at that gameplay. Okay, let's go for a Mage Mirror then. Well, this is a Babbling Book opener. Going off cold. So what kind of mage? I feel like I'm not that favored in Mage Mirrors because I have only one ice block, and other mages have two. So I feel a little bit weak when it comes to Mage Mirrors overall. He's playing Mana Worm, so it's not a pure freeze mage. It's either Gunther or some kind of hybrid. Something like that. I don't have weapon removal, so I have no way to deal with Medivh. That can also be annoying. I could play Arcanologist, but I couldn't really use my mana very effectively if I do that. I think I'm going to prefer Sorcerer's Apprentice into Counterspell. Because now he's very likely to use a spell to try to remove the Sorcerer's Apprentice, and that's not going to work out. He was trying to go for Secret Coin, Medivh's Valet maybe, but of course that did not work out for him right now. But I only got rid of a barrier. It's a bit of an old-fashioned Gunther Mage then, I guess. Because the newer ones do not play barrier. They play 2 ice blocks and a counterspell. Now I need to choose between playing counterspell or ice block. Counterspell could protect the Arcanologist. But turn 5 is not a very strong turn for him anyway. So I guess I'll develop the ice block this turn. He would not see counterspell coming because it's very rare to be running 2 counterspells. And now that's probably an ice block. Yeah, I guess that's an ice block. I think I was trying to protect the Mana Worm with another counter spell. I could play Mana Worm Apprentice 3 mana. Still have enough mana to counter spell. I believe this is fine. And set up the counter spell so that if he tries to deal with this with a meteor, for example, then that puts him in a really bad spot. He checked for Mirror Entity. I'm cool with that. Now he's going to play some cheap spell. No, he's going to play a Noose. Interesting. So I could play a Cone of Cold. How much damage do I have? So I have 7 plus 9 is 16. Yeah, not quite there. Cone of Cold does seem attractive right now. Let's freeze those fellows. I think I'm pretty committed to a phase plan right now. Let's go for a phase plan. freeze everything, hit a lot of face. He's a long way from being able to play Alexstrasza. He might be able to live to a defensive Alexstrasza with another ice block. There's definitely a chance for that. So 5, 2 and 1. Let's pop him at 1. Ooh, white ice. Sweet. I want to get the pop at 1. So he needs an ice block and he needs a defensive Alexstrasza. This fellow can take out the mana burn now. Okay, he needs another ice block and then he needs a defensive Alexstrasza. That's his way out. But that's not an ice block now, is it? No, it is not. Alright. Do I keep an Arcane Intellect? I might have to really look for those answers. I'm definitely keeping a Frostbolt in case there's something like an innervated fledgling that I really have to deal with. I assume this is an aggro druid. It's a Jade Druid. Alright. Interesting. So how do I go about beating a Jade Druid? Next turn he will have 3 mana. He's going to have a Wrath in hand. Because if I take a little bit of risk here, I could play this also as Apprentice. Wrath is the only card he can have to beat that, unless he has Innervate Swipe. Just use the coin. I get the Apprentice down and then I can play both the Arcane Intellect and the Glyph next turn. I think that is a risk that is worth taking. Because now he has to have a Wrath. And things just keep getting more interesting. Anaron's also pretty sweet. He could swipe. He can hit, swipe. I mean, I could try Mana Worm, Glyph, Frostbolt. Let's see. Arcane Explosion is alright, I guess. No, Flame Geyser is better. Both cost 0. Because I don't want to let him have this minion on the board. Because that enables swipe to be a full clear. Whereas with this play, swipe leaves one of the minions alive. I can try to apply pressure. I forsook the value from a Violence Portal over a tempo play. That makes life more difficult for him. A pair of Jades can be pretty strong though. Now they might trade into both of these. Fireballing is an option. Then I have that 1 mana left over. What do I do with that? Not much. I think Arcane Intellect is better. Let's see what I can find from this one. Oh, Frostbolt enables me to kill a Jade Golem. Yeah, I think I will Frostbolt down the 3/3. We'll be able to kill one of the minions relatively easily. But I think this is fine. I'll push face with these. So I have Fireball left in case he plays a Jade Behemoth and tries to get some taunts up. Oh, he has an Innervate. Innervate can save him. Okay. So he's at 11, but no, actually it cannot save him. It's so cool. Dum, 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 dum. And boom. Pretty aggressive. These are probably too expensive and unnecessary. Can I go with Manaverm on 1? I'm on the coin, so it kind of depends on his play. I also have the option to go Manaverm coin Babbling Book. What kind of paladin is this? It's one of those very aggressive Murloc Paladins. So say he has a Rock Pool Hunter to follow this up. If I play Manaverm coin Babbling Book, this one becomes a 3-2 and it trades into the Manaverm, but it also dies. It cannot take the value trade because then I can just ping. I think Manaverm coin book is strong enough. So he's running 6 1-drops most likely. There can still be some mid-range power in the deck despite running Grimscale Jump. That kind of hybridization is increasingly common right now. And it can also be just pure aggression. That was pretty good that he got the... What if he has a War Leader for next turn? I think I need to stop this now. Getting that buff on the Rock Pool Hunter was pretty strong. But how is his turn 3? He could have had a Cold Light Seer in this deck as well. There's plenty of stuff he can have. I could also Arcane Intellect, try to look for some cards, then I don't challenge the board. I guess I'll play the Arcanologist here. Nerf is coming to Quest Rogue. Yeah, Quest Rogue is going to die. Or at least become significantly weaker. Ooh, General Megasaur play. Interesting. Divine Shield is decent enough. Not great, but decent. Another Frostbolt, so I could Frostbolt ping the Megasaur. I could attack here to take away the Divine Shield. I think I'll go for that. Let's not leave it up with the Divine Shield. He could have a War Leader. He could have a Finja as well, though. I don't have an answer to Finja. Well, one of the upsides of doing this is actually... Oh! So this is a very hybridized list because he's running Stampeding Kodo. This is not one of the more aggressive lists at all. Interesting. Next turn is his Spikerid Steed turn. So I got the perfect top deck for this turn, which was the Medea's Valet. So now I'm able to take out the Murloc, and I'm able to set up a counter spell for his Spikerid Steed. So if he tries to play the Steed this turn, then he's going to get punished. Tries to play the Steed. I mean, that could have also been a Spellbender, which would have been disastrous for him, but right. I guess that's fine. It's one of my Giants. Because this is running the Kodos, it's also running Peacekeepers most likely. So we'll have to see how this one is going to turn out. Do I want to play an Arcanologist? He gets to kill it, but this one goes down to 1 health. I could also choose not to play the Arcanologist yet. Go for a Glyph instead. Let's Glyph. Mana Bind is actually pretty interesting. Say if he plays a Spikerid Steed, I get a Spikerid Steed. There are of course upsides to having a Pyroblast as well. I guess I'll throw out the Mana Bind. Let's try this one. Because now if he plays a Spikerid Steed on the Kodo, it will land. But it will not be nearly as influential. Double War Leaders. That's pretty strong. I can't kill both of them this turn. Now I can with double Volcanic Potion. Yeah, I guess double Volcanic Potion is the play. It's also one of my only means to cleaning out a Finja. But let's do it anyway. But now he can play a Tyrion. I mean, I can obviously kill a Tyrion. Do I want to use a Meteor already? I don't think I do. I think I'll just ping. That's 5 plus 2. That's not 7 mana. 5 plus 2. I cannot ping Arcanologist, Counterspell, and Arcane Giant. I need to just ping Counterspell, Arcane Giant. Let's do this to challenge the Tyrion. So now he cannot buff the Tyrion. He doesn't want to buff it. Just wants to take 8 to the face. That is interesting. Do I need to give any targets for Finja? Violent Spotless, so attractive. Spellbender probably isn't. So I might be able to kill something with Finja. That 5. If I get a minion with more than 5 health, I'll still give it a try. No, a minion with 6 health. Now I have a Meteor to deal with Finja anyway. It's probably fine. If he wants to take that 7, let him take that 7. He could have an Alder though, and then he would only take 1. And that would also keep Finja alive. But there are no more War Leaders, so Finja cannot get buffed, so I still have a way to clear that with a Meteor. Secrets can proc the counter spell, so he can play a Spike-Ridge Steed. Yeah, now he can play the Spike-Ridge Steed if he has one. So now he has to run in the Finja. Pull 2 more Murlocs. He has 1 more Megasaur remaining. If I top deck no, I don't have a Pyroblast in this deck. What am I talking about? Now if he has the Megasaur, at least that's not the Megasaur. He could have a Tarim. I think I need to play the Mana Worm. Mana Worm and Meteor. What about the Arcanologist? I can't play Mana Worm, Arcanologist, Meteor and ping. Arcanologist might be generally better because it thins out my deck. I want to thin my deck right now because I want to get closer to gaining value. So then I need the Meteor here and ping this one. And then I can play the Noble Sacrifice. Well, he knows it's a Noble Sacrifice, but it's still something. What if he has a Tarim in hand? Hey, Ochi, can I have you in the background while I'm climbing with friends? Okay. He had Tarim in hand. Okay. Can I find 8 damage before he kills me? So that's 9 to face now. Wow, that was a mistake. He needed to trade with Silverhand Recruit because he wanted to save the Murlocs. Okay, so he has 12 here. Mana Worm, Ice Block, Fireball, Ping is 10 mana. I would also go for a barrier. But I think block is fine. Fireball. Ping. So he needs to have healing, and I don't think he has any healing in that deck. So that's 12 damage. I can actually go with the barrier this turn. I don't have to play an ice block. Because even if he has to choose the champion, it's not lethal through barrier, and that saves my block from being popped for another turn. So even if he has healing, then he does not necessarily have what it takes. Okay, so... Alright. Yeah, not enough damage. Yeah, I counted correctly that there would be no way for him to kill me through the barrier. There could have been a way for him to... He could have popped the block. So now I get one additional turn. But because he had to choose the champion, that means that I need to top deck some damage. Oh, that one works out. But because I played barrier first instead of the block, that meant that I would get at least one more draw to find the damage. Whereas if I had the block popped, then barrier would not have been able to save me. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed the show, please click the like button and subscribe to my channel for more.